Welcome to Professional Skill Modelling. This is part 7 of Hobby Boss's SAAB J-32B-E Lansen. Scale is 1 to 48. In part 7, I'm going to be doing the painting and the decals, finishing off the canvas cover for the canopy. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. So before I can jump into the painting, there's a couple of little things I have to add on first. And the first set to go on are the little aerofoils that go throughout the top of the aircraft and the actual wings themselves. There isn't many to put on, and they're quite a nice size, so it's not like a 172 where they're tiny. So the tweezers and that can really grip them and put them on, and each one has its own location point as well, so you're not trying to study and work out where each one actually has to go. I'm using Tamiya's X27 Clear Red and X25 Clear Green for the wingtip location lights. Before I put the seats back in, I'm reattaching the ejection ring pulls. These are the ones that I made from the paper clip, and the seats go in quite easily, just replace back in now. There's a clear dividing dome between the pilot and navigator at the back there, so that goes in between. It's quite a strange shape, but it fits in between the little bulkhead that separates both areas. So now I'm placing in the air brakes, and they're secured with a little bit of white glue because there is photo etch making up the framework for these. Next to go on is the heat shield at the front of the cockpit, and then the locating lights. So it's back to painting, and it's Humbrol 117 US light green for the main base coat. I'm using Humbrol's RC401 dirty black, and this is for the black flash on top of the tail. Then I'm going on to Humbrol RC404 garter blue for the secondary colour. Painting this camouflage, I'm using it again freehand. I don't use masking tape when I'm painting camouflage. And then there's a coat of Pledge Clear for varnish. And it goes without saying, I've used this for the underside as well. But I didn't see the point of showing you that because it's just the varnish stage. So I'm going on to the decals. As you can see, I fast forward this up. I'm softening in water, then using Microsol here to just place them on. Microsoft softens the decals up further and helps drag the detail into the contours of your model. But be careful when you're using it, because they can rip if you've used too much and they soften up too much. It's now time to glue the main canopy, so I'm using the canopy glue here, the white glue. This is so that the canopy doesn't get fogged up with fumes. I'm having the canopy open, so it's a bit tricky to balance it, but I stacked up a couple of paint pots and leaned it against it and then left it for a couple of hours to dry. I'm going back to Humbrol 127 Ghost Grey, and this is for the two foils on each wing. Similarly, they should be the lighter colour, so I'm just repainting them. Next to go on are the two wing probes, one for each wing. They simply just sit on the end. I normally do this right at the end of the build because they are fragile and they're prone to be broken off. So I'm going back to the canvas cover. If you remember in the previous video, I used a previous bit of scrap from my flying elephant, and using that as a canvas. Here, what I'm snipping off is just some wire wrapped around a cocktail stick. Again, this is just some leftover work I had from when I was working on the HMS Hood, and I'm going to be using these as weights. In these in Revel Aquila 91 steel, and it's just a liberal coat of paint all over them. That I'm not really worried about finesse for these. And while they're drying, I'm just going to be trimming up this canvas so it's not going to be too large over the actual aircraft itself. I'm using Winsor & Newton matte varnish here just to take the shine off this tape, this masking tape. They painted it, I think it was a satin paint, so there's a little bit of shine to it. So this is a good way just to take off any shine. Just place paint on a bit of matte varnish. So next I'm just drilling some holes in the little wire and wrapped around the cocktail stick things. This is just so I can pass some thread through, but this is not thread. This is actually little rope for I use for rigging ships. So I'm just using a needle thread puller here just to pull it through. And with a little bit of super glue, the edge of the thread, I'll just push the unit down onto it, back into the hole, so then it's nice and secure. And as I said, I've got these things will act as weights. So now I'm going on to a little bit of withering, but not much. And I'm using Tamiya's Withering Master Series B, and I'm going to be using the suit component here. And I'm just putting in the streak lines along the wings and where the airfoils are, just to give it that little weathered look. Next, I'm taking the canvas, putting on a little bit of masking tape just to hold it. And what I'm doing here is taking these weights and just lining them up to see to fit them so they drape onto the ground. I'll then secure them with a little bit of glue and tape in place on the backs of the canvas. And once all four are done, it's a simple case of applying a little bit of white glue to the back of the canvas before fitting it onto the plane. Now I'm fitting it in such a way that the whole front canopy is going to be covered, so you won't see the complete mess of the front canopy. But the canopy is staying on there to give the shape of say a working canopy. So it was better just to leave it on than take it off, then place this canvas thing over it. Now, I've no idea whether this would be a thing in real life, whether aircraft have the sort of canvas and whatever placed over them. They probably don't, but it's a good cheap way to hide the mess that I made of the front canopy. It was a shame that the kit wasn't supplied with it, but that's how it goes. So this is will end part 7. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you check out my channel for my other builds? If you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and you'll be kept up to date of not only this build, all my future builds also. Hit that like button, leave a comment, and don't forget to share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.